you lovely boys and ghouls. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you are here for another fun video. So I am Katie and you are watching my 31 days of Vlogtober, and we are now smack dab in the middle of all of this craziness. So going from yesterday's prompt, which was based on a true story, this guy right here, I wanted you guys to kind of give me some ideas for your favorite movies that are based off of a real occurrence, you know, maybe a haunted house or a real place setting. And so, you know, a lot of the times these based on a true stories movies take their own liberties with the subject matter. And of course, the movies that I'm going to be talking about today kind of do that, but they're both, I think, very good horror movies to check out around this time of the year. And I absolutely love the subject matter of both of them. So I will be getting to my movie recommendations here in just a couple minutes. But of course, we're going to start with my music choice for the day. And it is by a band called Dead Man's Bones. And the song is called In the Room Where You Sleep. And this is probably the most popular song off the album. The band itself is not very popular. I mean, which is surprising to me because the lead singer of Dead Man's Bones is none other than Ryan Gosling. So Ryan Gosling, who, you know, started back in the day with guest starring roles on Are You Afraid of the Dark and Disney's wonderful show Flash Forward. He was on the Mickey Mouse Club, and now he's moved on to doing The Notebook and La La Land and just a huge collection of wonderful films. So it made me laugh when I found out that he was starting a band and that this was the subject that they wanted to sing about. So Dead Man's Bones is basically like an homage and love to the spooky season. So of course, per the name, you can kind of get the vibe that they're going with. But this song in particular, I love. They've got like a weird organ, a weird, I can't remember the name of the instrument that's got this weird timbre in it, but it is just a fabulous song that really sets the tone. If you're having a Halloween party, your guests are going to definitely fall into the spooky vibes that this song creates. So I'm going to play you a little bit of Dead Man's Bones, In the Room Where You Sleep. And you've probably heard this before in the background of movies. They seem to use it a lot. I'm not going to give you any more. You're going to have to look it up yourself. But that is In the Room Where You Sleep by Dead Man's Bones. And like I said, you kind of get a feeling for Ryan's vocal stylings back when he was on Mickey Mouse Club, but also recently with La La Land. So you know the guy has got a voice, and I love that he has used that talent to showcase the spooky season. So God bless you, Ryan Gosling. I just absolutely adore this whole album. So if you are looking for something new you haven't checked out yet, definitely check out Dead Man's Bones. I don't think you're going to be disappointed with that whole collection of songs. So let's move on to my book recommendation for today. And it is for another reoccurring author. I seem to be doing this a lot lately, don't I? But, you know, once I pick up a good book by somebody, I just keep wanting to dive further into their collection. So I am going to go back with my buddy J.W. Oker and recommend the New England Grimpendium, which was one of his very, very first books, if not the first. See, now I just did the video about him and I can't remember if this one was the first or if the Poland was first, but I think it was this one. I think it was this one. And then he did Poland, he did A Season with the Witch, he did a New York Grimpendium, he did Death in Douglas, and he's now, recently he put out the cover for his new book that's coming out next summer of The Smashed Man of Dread End. And it's going to be another kid's book, and it looks like it's going to be surrounding a group of girls that get themselves into a bit of an adventure. And JW has 3 girls, I think, at this point. I think there's 3. So he definitely knows how to write to a group of kids that are of the female persuasion. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this book has to entail. So can't say enough good things about JW, honestly. I've already raved about him in a previous video, so look that up if you didn't watch that one yet. But this book is fabulous because it goes over different locations that you can visit that live along the spooky spectrum. So, you know, visits to graveyards, visits to historically haunted sites, visits to, you know, spooky towns like, you know, Salem. And it really kind of breaks up the subject matter, I think, beautifully into 5 segments. So the book starts off with its table of contents. Well, first of all, it's got this beautiful cover page for the New England Grimpendium. So I think that's beautiful. And then he goes into his, you know, acknowledgments and thanks. And then he talks about the table of contents is as split up into these 5 parts. So part 1 is horror legends and personalities. So he has little blurbs, you know, talking about Betty Davis, Aleister Crowley, Charles Dickens, Margaret Hamilton, Nathaniel Hawthorne, P.T. Barnum, Shirley Jackson, Stephen King. So you've got little blurbs, like I said, about every single one of those actors, authors, notable, you know, personalities with P.T. Barnum. So it's a really cool little segment and a glimpse into some historical accuracy. And then part 2 is infamous crimes, killers, and tragedies. So in there we get to see the Lizzie Borden bed and breakfast. We get to journey to the birthplace of H.H. Holmes, who was, if you don't know who H.H. Holmes was, he was the murder castle guy in Chicago during the Chicago World's Fair that basically murdered a bunch of people, and there still isn't an accurate number of how many people H.H. Holmes actually killed, but that is an absolutely fascinating story. If you've never read about H.H. Holmes, I definitely recommend you look it up. The book, The Devil in the White City, is written about H.H. Holmes and that time during the World Fair. So definitely look up more information about him. But it talks about the Black Dahlia Memorial, the art of Jack Kevorkian, the birthplace of Ted Bundy, the Boston Massacre site and mass grave site. So like I said, all of these things are very well documented. I think that JW has been to every single one of these places because he loves to travel, and his information is always enjoyable. Through his website, he kind of updates, you know, places that he's been. So I very much will listen to JW if he's talking about something, because I know he knows what he's talking about. Part 3 goes into horror movie filming locations. So Beetlejuice, Dark Shadows, Flowers in the Attic, The Good Son, Ghost Story, Hocus Pocus, The House by the Cemetery, I Spit on Your Grave, Jaws, The Last House on the Left, Something Wicked This Way Comes, and various Stephen King adaptions. So if you are a fan of Stephen King, I'm looking at you, Katie. I know that there would be a lot of good information in there for you to check out. So then part 4 is notable cemeteries, gravestones, and other memento mori. So they're talking about certain unique finds that you'll uncover in a cemetery. So like the grave of Ocean-born Mary, which is another fascinating story if you've never heard about that. The grave of a Knight Templar, Skull and Bones tomb, the grave with a window. All of these are very, very cool. And I've heard about a lot of them just through JW's Otis page, his Odd Things I've Seen page, but really loved being able to get kind of a further in-depth review of those places. So then part 5 talks about classic monsters. So he's going over, you know, unique little blurbs about aliens and cryptids, witches, vampires, mummies, demons, ghosts, creepy plants, and famous monsters. So Famous Monsters even has a little blurb to Count Orlok's Nightmare Gallery in Salem, which was one of my favorite things I've ever visited. So if you have not heard about Count Orlok, you definitely need to look him up too. And I was going to read you a little blurb from the book, but they're pretty long, and I don't want to bore you with that information. But if you are at all interested in some weird, macabre, spooky things, definitely check out the New England Grimpendium by J.W. Oker, because it is such a great book, and it's just handy to have on you. Because like I said, if you were planning on taking a trip to New England and you wanted to throw in some maybe off the beaten path tourist locations, this is a wealth of knowledge for you. So definitely check this out. So I am going to be moving on to my movie recommendations next. So I have two of them for you today. And the first one I want to talk about is a more recent one. This one came out in 2018, I think. This is always where I get held off. Let me put this on a hold and I will figure out. It's 2018. It says right on the back of the DVD. So this is Winchester, and starring the freaking marvelous Helen Mirren. Oh my God. I love this movie, and I know I'm in the minority here. I know a lot of people saw it and they were underwhelmed, but I have been fascinated by the Winchester story for decades now, and I think that they picked the perfect person to encapsulate the role of Sarah Winchester with Helen Mirren. I think that she is beautiful and she plays mysterious very well, because Sarah Winchester's character is kind of enrobed in mystery. I mean, we really don't know a whole lot about her as a person because she was so secluded, and she was in mourning for basically her entire life after her daughter and her husband passed away. So the whole story is about Sarah, who was heir to the Winchester rifle dynasty, really. I mean, she amassed so much money after her husband passed away. It was almost like she didn't know what to do with it, and she didn't feel like she deserved it because of the way the money came to her, you know, due to creating an instrument that, you know, is a direct correlation to causing so much destruction and death. So I think that she had a really hard time grappling with that idea. And so the story goes that she went and saw a psychic. The psychic told her that she needed to move out west because she's originally from New England area. They actually talk about her in the JW book. But the psychic told her that she needed to move west and build a house. And she was to never stop building this house, because if she stopped building the house, then she would die. Which is so, like, you know, it feels like a fake story, but that's where my based on a true story stuff kind of comes in, because of course they take liberties with all that stuff, and it could be just a hearsay kind of thing, but it has gone through the annals of time. I mean, this was back in the 1900s where Sarah went through the California earthquake, which actually destroyed quite a bit of her Winchester mansion. So like I said, she moves to the west, she finds this property, and she starts building on this house that was already, you know, a house in its own right, but she expands it exponentially. I mean, this house is still available. You can check out the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. It is breathtaking to look at. I'm going to put a picture right here so you can see it. Oh my God, I would just die to be able to see this house. That's maybe a little bit morbid or a little dramatic, but still, it is at the top of my list of places to visit because it is so unique, so strange. She incorporated so many odd things. She had an affinity for the number 13, so a lot of things have like 13 window panes or 13 nails in something or 13 locks on a door. I mean, she was just really quirky like that, and she always changed up her crews that worked on the house because she had such a grueling schedule. I mean, they were to work on this house from dusk to dawn all day long. They were not to stop building this house. And there have been certain like things that have come up over time that's not necessarily true, that there were certain times when building, you know, ceased for a time being, but for the most part, she was very stringent to that guideline, and they really play that up in this movie. So the story, of course, is a ghost story, and they kind of go down that avenue with Sarah as she is trying to appease the ghosts of the murdered victims of the Winchester rifles. That's the whole thing, is that these people are, these ghosts have less than admirable reasoning for wanting to get to Sarah. And so she's been told that if she keeps building and changing the format of her house, this will confuse the spirits and they won't be able to get to her. But it was also said that Sarah would have nightly seances where she had one specific room that nobody was allowed in. It was only Sarah, and she, around midnight, would go in there and she would do, like I said, it's all speculation. We don't know for sure what she was doing, but trying to talk to her husband, trying to reach her child. We don't know. Just trying to talk to a general ghost to tell her what to do next with the house, because there are just some kooky ass things in this house. I mean, there's a door on, I think, the 3rd floor that just opens to the outside. There's no patio. There's nothing out there. It's just an open door to basically walk out and kill yourself from. There are, weird windows placed in odd spots. There are staircases that have, 2-inch steps that kind of make you go nowhere. I mean, when you all said and done, because it's just such a small incline. And a lot of people say that was because of Sarah's arthritis that she acquired over the years. And other people just say because she was crazy. I don't think she was crazy. I think that she was a woman that was in such despair over the loss of the 2 people she loved the most in the world that she had to find something to do to distract her mind from the absolute devastation that she felt every single day. So it's really almost a sad story with Sarah, but of course, like Hollywood does, they kind of zhuzhed it all up and made it this horror tale about ghosts. And Jason Clarke stars in this as well with Helen Mirren. I am not a Jason Clarke fan, so he was probably the one low point in this movie for me. I just didn't think he really added anything too spectacular to the movie with his character. But character is, of course, paramount to the plot of the story. So Jason Clarke is playing a guy who's supposed to be evaluating Sarah to make sure that she is not, off her rocker, so that she is able to stay the main inheritor of her inheritance. So otherwise it would be passed along to other people in the Winchester company, and Sarah does not want that. Nobody wants that, really. So basically this guy's whole point is to make sure that Sarah is of sound mind, she can take care of her own money, and because it starts to worry people when she's built in this weird ass house in the middle of San Jose. So it is a very good movie, and it was everything I wanted it to be. I mean, I knew going in that it was going to be this ghost story, and they were going to be taking that route with it. So it didn't surprise me in any way, shape, or form. But Helen Mirren always absolutely delights me in anything that she does. I just am such a fan of her work from everything that she's done. So I don't think that she disappointed at all in this movie, and I definitely recommend that you check out Winchester, because I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. I mean, look at that. Look at this she just looks gorgeous and morose and forlorn, and look at her in the back. So this picture here is based off of the one known picture that we have of Sarah Winchester. One. I mean, this woman was so famous, but we only have one photo of her. I mean, there's one picture of kind of her as a younger woman, a silhouette of her face, and then there as an older woman is that photo of her in this carriage. So I'll see if I can find a picture of that, and I'll put that up here too. But oh my gosh, the fact that there is literally only one photo of Sarah Winchester has always fascinated me, I think, the most out of the whole story. I mean, she's such a secretive, secluded woman that she was able to keep herself veiled in this veil of mystery, truly. So I love the story. I love the real story. I love this movie. So definitely check out Winchester if you have not seen it. It is streaming right now on Netflix, so easily accessible. And I just think it's a great movie. I think it's also maybe showing on HBO. I think I saw that it was streaming there too. So check out Winchester, and more love to Helen Mirren, because I just love her to pieces. So anything Helen does, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna just give a quick shout out to this movie that she did. It was called The Debt, and I think it's from 2010 or 2011, and it's where she plays this spy who kind of infiltrates the Germans in World War World War II, I think, and was supposedly the person that took down this Nazi doctor. But years later, you find out that they didn't go through with it and that the guy survived. And oh my God, it's one of my favorite movies. It's so, so good. And her acting in that is superior to a lot of films that I think got a lot more exposure. So if you've not seen The Debt, I definitely recommend that you watch that one too. Off topic, but still, see that movie. So my second recommendation for today is another based off true story where they kind of true story and go off on a tangent with it. But this movie is The Conjuring, which is based on Ed and Lorraine Warren. So it's their case files. Of course, this was the first in the series that they created, which kind of spiraled into this new thing that's taken a life of its own. There have been 2 Conjuring movies so far. The third is supposed to be coming out soon. It was supposed to be out this year, but because of COVID, it got pushed back. So The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It is still in post-production and will be coming out here in 2021, I think. So I am really, really looking forward to that. The Conjuring 1 has to deal with the Perrin family farmhouse in, I think, New Hampshire or Connecticut. One of the two. I mean, it's always one of those 2 states, right? Because it's a scary movie set in New England. So I think it's Connecticut. Maybe New Hampshire. Ah, crap. I don't remember. I'll post it so I'm more thorough with my thoughts. But like I said, sometimes I start talking about these things and I don't know what I'm supposed to look up before I start talking about it. Anyway, so The Conjuring is a 2013 movie, I think. Da-da-da-da. Here we go again, trying to find the date on the back of the DVD. It's not telling me, but I think it was 2013. 2013 Warner Brothers. Yay! Okay. So, The Conjuring is a 2013 film. It stars Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, and they play the titular roles of Ed and Lorraine Warren, and they are so... I think that they were perfectly cast, truly. I love Vera Farmiga. I have seen her in a lot of things and just think that she is a beautiful actress in general. She was in Bates Motel where she played Norma Bates. I thought she was stellar in that. But Vera plays a very sympathetic, loving Lorraine Warren, because I think a lot of the times people, especially people that grew up around like the 60s and 70s when the Warrens were really starting to showcase what they were doing, people gave the Warrens a bad rap. And I think that they kind of brought a lot of that onto themselves because of the way that they were putting themselves out there and saying that they were, you know, an investigator and a psychic and all of these things, when none of that had ever happened before. I mean, we didn't have paranormal shows on every single channel every Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday night. That, you know, these people have become more understood and they get a lot less grief, I guess, for going out and researching the things that they love. I mean, of course, over the times we've become more tolerant about many things, thank goodness. We should be much more tolerant than we are, but still I feel like it's a you know, a marathon and not a sprint. So we are getting there slowly. And with The Conjuring, like I said, they open up the Warrens case files, and when this movie came out, Lorraine Warren was still alive, so she and Vera Farmiga actually became pretty close in the filming of these movies. And I think that that helped her portrayal as well, is that she kind of knew Lorraine, so she had that personal touch that she could add to it. And I love this story, and I know that it is not true. Andrea Perrin, who is one of the girls directly involved with this case, she has become pretty prominent in the paranormal field over the years. She's written a book series called House of Darkness, House of Light. She has been to many paranormal conventions now. I was supposed to meet her when she was in Toledo for the paranormal convention we have here locally, but of course it got canceled because of COVID. So I am hoping that Andrea will come back, because I would really love to just shake her hand and just say how much I appreciate what she's been through. And because I know it's got to take a toll. First of all, dealing with something like this in your life, and then having a movie like this that comes out and just rocks the horror world. I mean, many people kind of brushed this off, I think, when they first announced it, but it's genuinely one of my favorite movies, and I'm gonna definitely say it's my favorite movie from 2013, because they kind of started with Insidious, with Blumhouse and James Wan films, and I loved Insidious, and then The Conjuring came out, and I was just head over heels in love with The Conjuring 2. And so then The Conjuring 2 came out. I've already said that. That sounds kind of funny. But so then The Conjuring 2 came out, dealing with another story about the Warrens case files with the Enfield poltergeist, which happens over in England. And that was another terrifying story. I mean, both of these movies are beautifully acted. The stories themselves take on their own little life, I mean, truly. And I just, if I'm going to be watching horror movies, those are kind of at the top of my pile. Every time I go to watch a movie, it's The Conjuring or The Conjuring 2, Insidious or Insidious Chapter 2. Insidious Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 were not my favorites. If I had to put them in a rank, it would be 2, 1, 4, 3, I think would be my Insidious ranking. But of course, The Conjuring has brought about so many more spin-offs. So we have the Annabelle series, which is so funny to me because the Annabelle little blurb was so small at the beginning of The Conjuring. I mean, it opens up with the story of Annabelle, and then it just kind of goes into one of the Warrens' talks at a local community college. So we only get maybe 3 minutes of Annabelle talk, but that created such a spark with everybody. And that doll that they made is just so creepy. The actual Annabelle doll is a Raggedy Ann doll. It's not even like a creepy looking doll, but it just did some creepy shit. But the movie, of course, like I said, take liberties. And so when they created that Annabelle doll, I think that was, they kind of just signed the rights away to a million spin-offs because they did a really good job with that doll. It is terrifying. So they've had, I think 3 or 4 Annabelle movies. The first one was garbage. I really did not like that at all. So the fact that they kept going with the series, I was amazed at, but also thankful for, because the other inclinations, Annabelle Creation and Annabelle Comes Home, I've loved both of those movies very much. So if you're going to watch those, skip the first one. I mean, it's, I guess, kind of necessary to watch, but you don't really have to really enjoy the Annabelle series. So I would definitely, if you've got a choice, I would skip over it. But then they've also incorporated the storyline with Valak, the nun, and she's had her own spinoff, starring the incredible Bonnie Aarons. Oh my God, she's fabulous. She's been in so many creepy things, and they make her look terrifying, and she is just a stunning woman. Her eyes are I've never seen anybody whose eyes look the way hers do. And funnily enough, I was watching old music videos one day, and the Counting Crows music video for Round Here, that gorgeous song, I was watching it on YouTube one day. And so in the video, it kind of pans around, and there's this woman that's holding this sign in the video that says, "Nobody move and nobody gets hurt." And it's Bonnie Aarons, like it's her walking around with the sign, and I could tell by her eyes, I'm like, she looks so familiar. So I went on Twitter, and I was like, this person in this music video looks a lot like Bonnie Aarons. And Bonnie Aarons saw it, and she commented, and she's like, "Yep, that's me." Because I was looking on Wikipedia, and her credits don't note that music video at all. So it was a bit of me jumping down the rabbit hole, but I thought that was really nice that she responded back to me. So thank you, Bonnie, for being so nice and just giving me some clarification. So, but yeah, so I absolutely love this series. I will watch every Conjuring movie they come out with without fail. Like I said, I absolutely love this movie, and I'm so glad that it has birthed so many fabulous movies to come. So I can't wait for The Devil Made Me Do It. That one's going to be very, very intriguing. Of course, like I said, they're all based on Ed and Lorraine Warren's case files. So they have so many cases. I hope that they continue this, and that, Vera and Patrick keep coming back, because We love you. Just keep coming back. You're wonderful. I think James Wan loves Patrick Wilson in general because he put him in the Insidious series too, and then over into The Conjuring. So Patrick Wilson, you really can't go wrong with, though. He either plays a wonderful, sympathetic character or a wonderful villain. I mean, he can play either one because James Wan had him again in the Aquaman movie. So, way to go, Patrick Wilson. You're awesome. Okay, so we're gonna move on to my movie or my TV recommendation for the day, and this is for the 2016-2017 2 seasons only, unfortunately, but Fox series The Exorcist, which is based directly on the William Peter Blatty book that inspired the movie. The TV show was freaking straight up terrifying because I have already talked about on this channel how unhappy I am to watch anything that is, possession or exorcism-ish, and it takes a lot in me to go see these movies because it is my one, well, no, I won't say that because torture porny stuff, I don't like any of that. So the Saw series, the Hostel movies, Human Centipede, stuff like that, no, thank you. No, I mean, as a horror fan, I feel kind of bad saying that, but I can't do it. I couldn't even do Tusk, okay? That stupid Kevin Smith movie with Justin Long turning into a walrus. I mean, oh God, it was so bad. It was so bad. So that's kind of where my horror fandom lies, is more towards the paranormal and the ghosts and the cryptids, monsters. That's what I love. I don't like demons. I don't like things possessing people's bodies. It really makes me uncomfortable. And like I said, I think it has directly to do with my Catholic upbringing, but I don't even like saying the words possession and demons because I feel like it's going to, like, I don't know, I'm going to summon somebody to come get me. I don't like it. I'm showing way too much of myself. I'm so sorry. But this series, that's why this is such an amazing series to me, because I loved it. I could not stop watching it. And the first season was tough for me because it was really the quintessential Exorcist possession series, and that made me so uncomfortable every single episode. And it was a fight because my now husband Rob, we were dating at the time. We just started dating really in 2016, and he was like, let's watch this series, it should be really good. And I kind of was like, because I told him out of the gate I was a huge horror fan, and yeah, I love watching horror things. So then I was like, well, I can't tell him this stuff, it makes me really uncomfortable. So okay, well, we'll watch it. Maybe I'll just look at my phone the whole time or something, but I couldn't stop watching this series. Right from the gate, you have the absolutely incredible Gina Davis stars as the mother of this girl who is dealing with some type of possession, and you're not entirely sure what's going on, and but you do know something's happening with this girl. And I like the way in this series that they go from the outer perspective of what's going on, and then they switch to the inner perspective of what this person is dealing with, along with this demon's perspective. It was very unique. Definitely didn't do that in the Exorcist movie, but man, I really enjoyed this series. And the first season, like I said, was good because of course Gina Davis is in it. And spoiler alert, you find out down the road that she's changed her name over the years, and she's actually Reagan from the Exorcist movie. I mean, this is her as an adult, and her daughter is now dealing with the same demon that she dealt with in previous, incarnation. So I thought that was a great twist. Was not expecting that at all, because we were kind of wondering how it was going to incorporate that Exorcist story into this one, and I just absolutely adored it. That season ended, and I was like, okay, well, that was pretty cool. And I found out that they re-upped it for a second season, and I was like, oh God, here we go. What are they gonna do now? And the second season was amazing. I loved the second season. Heads and tails better than the first one. Like I said, the storyline in the first one was good, but John Cho stars in the second season, and I absolutely adore him. Everything that he's in, I mean, he started kind of in a goofy sense with Harold and Kumar, but he has since gone on to be in a lot of things I really enjoyed. He was in the Sleepy Hollow television series. Really loved his character in that. And then now, you know, in this series, as a sympathetic character, you know, he's a man who's recently lost his wife, but they were foster parents. So he's kind of tasked himself to become this overall, you know, a dad to all of these kids who otherwise wouldn't have a home. You know, they are, they act out, they have really brutal histories that kind of keep people from wanting to adopt these kids. So, like I said, he becomes this kind of a martyr in the foster world where he just wants to take care of any kid that needs love. There's a blind child, there's a girl that has been emotionally abused, and so she lashes out, and I'm telling you what, it is just a really good story. You follow along with the two priests that are kind of sent to help out, you know, with the obvious, you know, the elephant in the room, there's somebody going to be possessed kind of thing. And both of those characters I really loved because they were flawed men. They were not typical priests, you know, that are stoic and they follow all the rules. And these men were flawed. You know, one was battling homosexuality. The other one has demons from his past that you find out. And they have dealt with these demons before. I mean, they are exorcists. So it's almost like they have personal relationships with these demons. And I don't know, I just found it to be beautifully acted. The storyline was really unique. I'd never seen anything like that before. And I don't have enough, like I say this all the time, but I really don't have enough good things to say about this series. So if you are interested in checking it out, I don't know if it is streaming on, like, the Fox Now may have it, like their Fox app may be showing it. I don't think it's on Hulu. I don't think it's on Netflix. You may be able to find it on Amazon Prime. But it is definitely worth a watch. If you know, liked the series, the movie, you're going to love the series because they really do a good job of honoring the movie and not trying to remake the movie. Because I know that was a lot of people's reactions when they heard about making this series. They're like, well, you can't remake The Exorcist, it's the best movie of all time, kind of thing. You know, these purists that just throw their hands up in the air and refuse to see something because, oh, you're going to ruin it. And, you know, truth be told, I am that way about a lot of things. I'm still on the fence about the Craft remake that they're doing. But I do like the fact that they are changing it around. It is not a direct remake. It is, they're keeping that first movie as canon and kind of going from there. So I really like it when they do things like that, as opposed to trying to just rehash the same story, like with this new Witches movie. I think that looks like an abomination. I know a lot of people are excited about it, but Anne Hathaway is not Angelica Houston. And I'm just, the more I watch the trailer, the sadder I get, because I just feel like they're not going to encompass it the way that first one did, you know, and that's me being a brat. I know that, but like I said, I am more open to some things than others. And this one, I really didn't watch The Exorcist movie. I watched it once, and that one damn time was enough for me to know I'm never watching that damn movie ever again. It was awful. But I was like, you know what? We'll give this series a chance, and I'm really glad that I did. So, and I'm going to give The Witches a chance. I'll watch it. I watch all of these movies. I watched the Child's Play remake, and it was so funny. Like, I know that they didn't go about that with the best of intentions, because they pretty much wrote off, you know, Don Mancini and everybody else that was involved with the original Child's Play, and created their own thing. And I really missed the aspect of the serial killer doll, but this new one is still highly entertaining. And if you can kind of get over the thought of they've remade Chucky into its own thing, you know, looking at it as a new thing. I did the same thing with the new Anne with an E series from Anne of Green Gables. I mean, I was so angry when I found out they were remaking it again, because the prior incarnation they had was awful. It was terrible. Martin Sheen played Matthew, and he was just so bad. And I don't know who the other characters were in that. I don't care, actually, because it was dreadful. Coming from a person that loves that story, and I have given, like I said, I've given every incarnation a chance, and that one was terrible. So I was already going in grumpily going, well, they're just gonna ruin it again. But Anne with an E, I'm gonna do a whole video about Anne with an E at some point, because I just love it so much. Which is saying something, because Megan Follows is my Anne, but oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved it. My friend Nicole and I, we absolutely adored it. We watched season 2's premiere together, or season 3 premiere. I think it was season 3's premiere. Absolutely fell in love with it. And, you know, I watched it when it was showing on CBC. So then during the commercial breaks, they would have come visit Prince Edward Island commercials, and each one of them made me cry. Every single one of them made me so sad and made me miss Prince Edward Island so much. But I've gone so far off topic with The Exorcist. But so that is my recommendation for today, is the Exorcist series from Fox. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's streaming, but it's a quick Google search, guys, and it's definitely worth your time. So that is my show today, I guess. So let's go ahead and move on to my next prompt. So let me get over and get my prompt off the board. Today's is going to be adapted from a novel. So kind of similar to this one, but we are going from a movie that started as a novel and then was turned into a big budget movie. So adapted from a novel, I kind of feel like I know what some of you guys are going to do. Katie and Stephen King. I'm already calling it. I'm calling it. But I want to hear some opinions, and we're going to have a good time talking about this tomorrow. So I hope you're all well, and that you're feeling healthy, and that everybody you know is healthy, and that you're getting excited about Halloween in a couple weeks, guys. Just a couple more weeks. We're looking at 2 weeks from tomorrow, I think, right? Yeah, 2 weeks from tomorrow. That's crazy. This October has just flown. Personally, for me, I feel like every day I wake up and I do one of these and I'm like, it's the 14th already. It's the 15th already. Oh my gosh, you know. So I'll get off of that weird box. But I'm so glad that you guys are here. If you like my channel, please hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I'm going to be posting new videos. I've been really trying to get on a schedule. I know it's kind of been goofy. I started from an 8 o'clock post time to a noon post time, and the last couple days, because of my weekend, I didn't film those 2 episodes, and it's kind of thrown me off a bit. But I'm hoping that I'm back on my noon schedule. Again, have some grace with me, please, because I don't have an ability to set it to automatically post. I have to wait for the video to process and then get updated. And so it takes a little bit of time, but they're coming for you, I promise. Every single day, you're going to get a new video from me. So I love you guys very much. And again, I thank you so much for supporting me and this goofy ass channel. So I will see you guys in the next video. Love you.